I just want to tell you a little bit about like who is this organization that I just donated $5 to, and why are we here? And then the rest of it will just be all commercials all the time tonight. So I'll tell you a little bit about how I got involved. My beloved American Academy of Dramatic Arts West, which I'm a graduate. I graduated the same year with Adam Scott, 2 years after Paul Rudd. It's an amazing school, shuttered its West Coast school this year. Erin was an amazing instructor there, and I have been working with Erin to try to keep affordable, amazing conservatory acting education in Los Angeles. So FALA is the nonprofit that will be working with community programs to keep affordable classes here in LA. And if any of you saw the LACAE, that is our first big initiative, which is the actual conservatory in a building moving into North Hollywood. I reached out to Gabrielle because we have worked together before. I've worked with her, thank goodness. I'm lucky to, but we've worked together before, and I just know how generous and gracious she is with sharing her wealth of knowledge. All of us tonight are doing this for a volunteer. Your $5 is a donation, and we just hope that you'll walk away with some wonderful insight and maybe a little bit of inspiration. I know you guys all have seen Gabrielle's bio, but I'll just remind you, for those of you that are old timers like me, you see her over at Fifth Street Studios, which is still live and happening, which we love. Fifth Street Studios is still open and open for business. So doing live auditions, and her work is extensive, from all the products you can think of, Super Bowl commercials, and has been around for a minute, as long as I've been doing commercials. I'm not sure.
Probably longer.
Yeah.
Like long enough to know.
So is there anything we have a couple of questions that came in, but is there anything that you wanted to kind of tell about yourself before we jump right into some questions?
Other than what you said, and thank you for all those nice words. Other than what you said, I'm very actor focused in my work. I get hired by the client, so I actually have to be an advocate for them. But I often do push back on, when they over ask, or just I'm friendly. Basically, you can think of me as that. I'm also very, professional in the sense that when you come to an audition and, who I can see, I recognize. So it's like, you guys know this stuff, but when you go to an audition, it's also an invitation. It's also an interview. So I also hold the line with, be ready, because it's not fun for anyone to, have to deal with somebody that isn't as excited as we all are, because we spend a lot of time prepping. We spend a lot of time working on a project before it gets to the breakdown stage. So when we see people that don't read the instructions or the notes or the stuff posted on the wall, if it's in person, that's stuff that you want to, kind of button up. So it's a fun business. I got in when I was really young. I started as a PA right out of high school. So I was a production assistant and got to learn production a little bit that way. Then I spent a few years casting extras for a company called Cast and Crew Extras, which gave me a sense of, dealing with people and understanding things and wardrobe and blah, blah. And then I got an opportunity in '88 to cast my first real Miller beer commercial at Dodger Stadium, where we were already doing the extras, but then they're like, do you think you can find the principals? And I just said yes. And I had no idea. And by the grace of God, Mick Dowd, these are names you guys may or may not know, was so generous, and he showed me how to fill out a yellow sheet and do all the things. So, over the years now, we're obviously not analog anymore, But it's interesting now in my career to see people that were in their 20s and now, more like every generation changes, and how important it is to stay fresh. And the common denominator for the actors I've seen who've worked the long haul, like multiple decades, is how they keep reinventing and staying curious and taking classes and interacting with each other. And before we all got jacked up with COVID, with the whole
I thought that was going another direction. Jacked up with.
I'm sorry. No, I feel like everybody was, but then we all had to learn yet a new thing. So now we're learning a new thing. We're learning the self-tapes, and we're learning, all that stuff. And so now we're kind of bringing it back. I'm a huge proponent for in-person casting. If the clients have anywhere near the money, to do it right, you need actors to be together. The split screen interviews. I don't think I think you're selling yourself short. Instead of going for a steak dinner, you're going to a fast food dinner for steak. I mean, that's a bad analogy, but anyway, that's all I got.
That's a very Paul Newman analogy. Didn't he? That Paul Newman said something like that about Joan Woodard. Well, guys, we want to. I know there's lots we're going to cover, and questions will help us with that. So. I have 3 questions, and I'm going to call you out. And if you remember, so I'm going to do, so we give Erin time. And if you remember your question, let me know, and we'll have you ask it. And if you don't remember your question, no worries. I'll read it, and we'll still get you on camera to be seen, or get you talking to Gabrielle. So in the meantime, we got 3 questions. So guys, get in that chat. I know there's a couple ways you can either, and our producer Erin is watching it. So either get in that chat and ask a question, or if you're shy about your question or whatever, you can, there's also a question spot in there that you can jump in and fill in there. So,
I can see Mark Ray. I can see some of the questions too.
Oh, they're coming up. Okay. I'm going to go to the ones that actually submitted first, and then we'll get into the ones up there. So hi, Mark. Good to see you. Mark and I were at the Santa and Mrs. Claus audition together the other day, yesterday, which I did not get. Maybe he'll let us know if he did. So let's start with Mike Perkins. Mike, do you remember? We're going to turn on your mic and let me know if you remember your question. And if not, no worries, because you probably put it in a while ago. I'll just read it off, and you can chat. We can. Can
I get a line?
Line.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah,
nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
No, I do remember it. No, I was just making a
You're
joke.
teasing. Okay.
I was like, I'm getting ready for this line. I think the one thing that I'm rep by Eris Talent Agency. My Adam Lieblein is my commercial agent. And I know he always tells us, he's like, when you get an audition, it's kind of like, hey, you're like top 400 or something like that, like in the submissions. So I think my question was really just, how do you stand out in that? Like when you're on the screen looking at self-tapes, how do you stand out in that sea of just all these little thumbnails of videos, Because from what I've heard from other casting directors, it's like there's no way to watch all 1,000 submissions. So I guess just kind of, how do you stand out, and what are some tips to do that?
Nice to meet you, Mike.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Great professional agent, known him for years. I don't do a lot of self-tape. We only do a little, and what I have done and what I've seen with it is you don't want to be the first one in, but because you want to be prepared. Like if you put a breakdown out, and when I do have to do them, I try to give people 2 or 3 days, because I have friends that are agents that tell me, oh, a breakdown will come out and the actor has 2 hours to get their self-tape in. So that's really not considerate for the actor, because they've got to, unless It's just not. Give them a little time, at least 24 hours. Do it as quickly as you can, but just read the notes and don't be super late. Try to make a thumbnail that is the essence of the spot. Like if you had to pick one frame that was like the reaction shot, or, like sometimes there's a thing, I would say that thumbnail will draw your eye, because after we do casting and we send the link to the clients, we'll edit the thumbnails because the clients have so little, they have so much going on. That's but so little, a patience to watch a whole take or a second take, that if I can grab a screenshot of what I think is like, oh my God, this was their moment, then that I think draws eyes to you, and then they'll watch your performance. That's like kind of the big thing, because they just fast forward, they're busy. So for self-tapes, that's what I would do. If you're going in person, the normal things, be prepared, be dressed right. If you can do a little homework into the brand to sort of get a gist of like, what are their recent spots? Because, sometimes the creative team is work on something for a while. So if you see this and you don't really, how much information is given to you, I don't even know in the breakdowns, other than our business, our company, but sometimes we have to hold stuff back until you get there. But look at the brand, look and see, what the kinds of things that they're going for, because the client, if they like that, then, unless it's a whole, so that's kind of a good tip, I think. Does that make sense?
Oh, no. I think Erin's on it. She muted you. Thank you.
There's a little background noise, but that's all good.
That's all. No, it's all good. It's
yeah. So thumbnails, just to recap, thumbnails for the self-tape, if you're going to do that, so that it grabs somebody's eye and they're like, yes, I want to see this guy's performance, and time yourself right. It's almost like showing up to a party. You don't want to be the first one there, but you don't want to be, last one to leave, so you want to be like in the, like if I got a breakdown and I was like, they wanted my video by 3:00 tomorrow, I would try to get it in by 11. If I could, it's like, but I wouldn't necessarily rush to get it in tonight, because that kind of shows that, did they read it? Did they work with it? We gave them some time, but life happens too. And then when you come in, just, remember everybody's name, remember the lobby guy or girl, remember the session directors. It's always fun to tag the casting office, not about obviously what you're there for, the product, and keep that all on the DL. But, I'm going to 5th Street, or I'm going to 200 South, or I'm going here, or, I got to run into an old actor friend. That stuff is all fair game. And then if you tag everybody, then that helps everybody know that there's signs of life in Los Angeles. And I'm a big proponent of staying in LA. So if you guys aren't aware of that, that's a whole big movement to try to bring more TV shows and movies and everything back to Los Angeles and Hollywood. So, if you can sign up for that, get their things. And apparently it's working. There are some shows coming back and stuff, and commercials are coming back too. It's all, budget stuff, but different topic. Sorry.
No,
stop me if I ramble, Meredith. If you know me, I ramble.
Yeah,
the stay in LA is very important to FALA.
Yes, we all want to. This is a lot for the ones that work here. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Colleen Sproul, I hope I didn't mispronounce your name, who's also with my agency. If you want to, Erin, if you want to turn on her microphone, Colleen Sproul did. And if you remember, Erin, or if you need a line, if you need a cue, I'll give you the question that you submitted. Thank you for pre-submitting a question. We'll get you on here.
Yeah. Hi. I believe so. I had a few in my head, but I believe the one I sent in was, do you like to hear from talent after an audition, or do you prefer that we are, like just to say like thank you, or do you prefer we don't contact you directly, especially if we have our agents that are submitting us? you know.
Okay, I'll answer this with, I worked in a very busy, and I'm not going to mention the name, but a very, very big casting company when I was young, and everything was on telephones. It was back in the day. And she answered the phone, and it was an actor thanking her for a booking. And she was just up to here. Headshots, a million things. We didn't even have fax yet. Like, it was crazy. And I'm her assistant. And all of a sudden I hear her like, you want to thank me? You want to thank me? Don't call me to thank me. The way you thank me is you leave me alone and I'll call you in next.
Oh my gosh.
Now that is so 80s, like Hollywood, like caricature. Like nobody would ever do that now. But that was the thing then. So when you asked that question, my memory, because I was so mortified, it's you don't need to. I think kind of, because then it's, unless you send an email and it's really on chill level and just say want to thank you, but really I don't know that helps you, because then like if it's me, I'll feel like, oh, now I gotta reply, and and if you're, I don't want to sound mean or anything, but I don't think that that's the best thing. I think honestly the trick right now is just tag somebody in a story, because then we know you appreciated it. We know that you showed up, even though we know you showed up, but we know like it's there, and it also benefits the studio, the casting company. It's just a way to say everybody's out there working. I think that's probably the most tactful way now. Now, if you get a major crazy booking and somebody's brought you in for years and you know them, then it's a little different. Then it's like, maybe you send some flowers, or maybe you send a little gift card, or by no means is that like you should do that, but like certain circumstances, if somebody's brought you in for years and you land like a major project, you could do something like that, on the mellow side. But I don't think necessarily, obviously don't call, but sorry, it just took me back for a second.
That's funny. It's like Estelle on Friends.
Totally, that's what this woman was like.
I'm awesome, like, and that was your question, Colleen. You remembered.
Super.
All right, so we thank you guys again. Thank you to the guys that wrote in. I have another one, and then after that, I'm gonna let Erin, you monitor the questions based on when they came in. If you're okay with that.
I'm totally fine with that. Yeah.
Cool. So this is from Dayton. I'm assuming we just have one Dayton in here. Surprised if we, but Dayton.
Hi. Yes, you pronounced it correctly, by the way. So yeah, I actually just moved here from Nebraska like 2 weeks ago, so I'm super fresh to the game. So this question might be very basic, but how important is it to like, from comparing your look to your performance when it comes to commercial casting?
If you are in LA and you're new to LA, right? You said you just got here?
Mm-hmm.
I would do research on all the casting studios so you know where they are. I would, have a couple changes, like old school professionalism, a little overnight bag with whatever age range. What's your age range you play?
Probably like 18 to 28.
Okay, so everything from like the college student casual to maybe a server at a restaurant, and basic uniform, like basic shirt, pant, basic. Because now that you're in LA, you're not going to have time to go home if you get a call while you're out. Like, let's say you're doing auditions and, you just want to have that, in the back of your car and know where you're going, and just be try to get as familiar as you can, because you're going into audition with people who maybe have been here for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 20, you don't know. So just try to make yourself more aware of what's around so that you're not late. Try not to be late. You have to give yourself ample time for driving and parking. If you're a self-tape person and it's a self-tape audition, obviously that doesn't matter as much. Just try to familiarize yourself with things is, you know, as a new person, and take classes, meet more people, because the more you work with people, whether it's at some, you know, interacting like this or going to one of the live shows that you can, you know, audience participation. Dan, my friends, what was that one on La Brea? And it was like twice a month, and they would have a
Was
group.
it Acme Talent?
It might have been Acme.
Improv?
Yeah, and get yourself into those situations, even if you're not with them. Just meet as many people as you can and get in as many face-to-faces as you can. And even sign up and do extra work, because you're in an age range where you can probably get some extra work. And even if that's not your end goal, every time you get on set, whether you're, you know, running and getting coffees for people as a PA or you're background performer, it's an amazing opportunity to meet people and be there and watch. You can be a sponge.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Well, this is happening. I just want to tell you guys, I saw the most, because this made me think of it, the most, Dayton, the most amazing thing in Actors Access. And if I had just got to this town, I would be all over it. They're looking on Days of Our Lives or Young, one of the soaps. It's on Actors Access for someone to be a regular extra. And the pay is good, and you would be working all the time. And if I was your age and just got here, I would be all over that. Check it out on Actors Access. I mean, I was like, oh, anyway, because the soaps are great about up getting people, up, you know, bumping them up. Anyway, yes, that's a good way to get your SAG card. Yes, because yeah, they can hire you without being union. Okay, Dawn, sorry, I won.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you.
Yay. I apologize. This is my first time on Windows Teams, so I was clicking on the microphone on the picture instead of on the YouTube one. Anyhow, thank you so much for being here, and hi to Meredith. I have two really quick questions. The first question is, if somebody has been in town for a long time but has not been on your radar yet, what is the best way to get on your radar? Would you prefer us to go through our agents, or would you be okay with any email that we send personally? Or what's the best way?
I would go through your agent, especially if you, like, after this meeting or whatever, you know, just follow up, and that tells your agent you're doing your work outside. So that's good, because then they know they've got an easy pitch. I always suggest freshening up photos, keeping something relevant. Every 6 months, if you want to send a blast with like updates, I see those, and they're not to me personally. They're more like, in the last 6 months, I've done this, I've tried that, and here's my new haircut. You know, those are lovely, because we don't. And just to circle back to Colleen's question before, then there's no obligation to reply. Then that's just free information. And I love that, because then I'm like, oh, they booked something on a NCIS, or, oh, they booked this on a movie, or, oh, they just got back from shooting in another country. But it's not like targeted to me, but it helps promote yourself. So look into something like one of those that you can send out every 3 months or 6 months, that update, even if it's just new photos or, you know, interesting, something interesting you can come up with.
Okay, great. And if I could follow up with one question that is a technical question. When you come into the room, because you're fortunate enough to have a room, and not everyone is having a room, sometimes it's a self-tape, but this question tends to come up a lot. Tell me about yourself. So when somebody says, tell me about yourself, whether it be on a self-tape or in person, would you want to hear about somebody's hobbies, or are you just trying to gauge their personality, or what should we talk about that would be a good thing?
What I would do is I wouldn't think of it like as therapy. We really don't necessarily need to know, but you know, if you're going to an audition, you know, be ready for something that's sort of in the vein of that audition. So, like, let's just say it's a Shakey's Pizza spot or something. And maybe like, well, what's your favorite thing to do? I love bowling. And then my friends and I love to go get food afterwards, or something simple. Don't make it look like a plant, but like, how can I stand out in the client's mind by saying something that isn't too on the nose, but it is within, sort of the arena. And then people will be like, oh, she gets us. So I would, sometimes, and if they catch you off guard, which we do intentionally, like, when was the last time you were afraid? When was the last time somebody made you laugh in public? Like, we'll throw like just, and then just come up with anything, even if it isn't something you did, it's something somebody else did, and it comes into your mind, just play with it.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. Thank
Yeah,
you for
no,
your time
thank
and
you.
your
Practice winging it. And you don't, and the reason I said it doesn't have to be personal to the sense that you feel vulnerable. It can be something that you grab from somebody else, but it's spontaneous and in the moment.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Sure.
Great questions, Dawn. Thank you.
I love Shane.
You've kind of answered this a little bit, but like my question was about like gifts. I had an acting teacher once who said every time you get an audition or you book something, you should like send a gift to the casting person. But that seems excessive to me. I haven't done that. Or he said you should write a thank you note. I've done that a little, not really. But I have sent like a postcard in the summer with a picture of Santa Claus on it, with me. So like everybody I could find. Just to say, hey everybody. It's
for you, because you're so like in a special zone, and if you do the Santa thing, it might be fun to do like character Santa 365, Santa skiing in the winter, like just like make it fun and do. I think email mailers are better than even postcards because they just come in and then you look at them quick and but emails tend to stay in your email box. And if we see something interesting, like I'll drag it into a folder that, next time we need to brainstorm to who are we bringing in, because jobs change so fast in commercials. You got to walk the line of staying on people's radars, but also but being in a relevant, interesting way for casting. So, I would look into one of those, emails that you could do updates every few months. But yeah, the gift thing, that was sort of back in the day. I don't know things are too expensive. Nobody wants it. Nobody expects it. That's your own personal choice. But I think just a good email blast and something that'll be funny and make them think of you. And there's like, oh God, there's Mark. I didn't know Santa wore bikinis, or whatever,
I have
just,
that picture.
yeah, you probably do. Or plays ukulele with that cute little smiley face on the back wall, or, those kinds of things. And that way, when a Santa job does come up, they'll be like, oh, right. Because, we'll get flooded with a bunch of Santas. Like, it's the funniest thing ever when casting Santas in the summertime is one of my favorite things ever. It's like, oh, those holidays are coming. But, yeah.
Is there any, well, thank you for that. Is there any kind of, because I basically keep a spreadsheet of every audition I've ever had and the date and who it was with and everything else. And I just finally occurred to me to sort and see what casting people I've seen more than once. And there's a few I've seen like 7 or 8 times. And is there any point in like focusing some of this love on them and just try to...
Well, yeah, because they know you enough. They like you enough. They're obviously opening your agent's submissions. So yeah, staying in touch with them in a loose way would be great. Just appreciate seeing you, and if you don't hear from them in a few months, just gently remind them. If you see a spot that they've cast or something, you could hit them up and go, hey, congratulations, that looked great. If you see their name brought up somewhere else, it's like try to find a way to connect that isn't saying, call me in. And we all do that in any position we're in. You want to make the connections, but you don't want to be like, please,
So what is the text of that email then? What is the message then?
Hey, Gabrielle, thank you so much. I just realized I've seen you. I've been into your office 3 times in the last, 2 years, and it's always been a pleasure. Your lobby is so nice, and, I'm here if you need me or something like that. Or I recently did this, that kind of thing, because then they're going to be, oh, it's Mark Gray, they know you.
I did. I wrote I had a typewriter. I actually wrote a typed thank you note to John Papsadera, because he's seen me like 5 times. I was like, wait a minute, I keep saying his name at the end of movies. This guy, and the last one was to be Superman's dad. And I was like, how am I getting this opportunity? And I thought I did a really nice job. They didn't hire me. But after that, I was like, okay, I want to get in touch.
Well, and theatrical is different. I mean, commercials move so fast. So for him, that could be perfect. And I just hope that your letter gets to the person, because, we're all working more remotely. And even if we're there for casting, the mail is it's a different world. Mail is a way different world. Like, we don't even invoice via mail anymore. We don't get paid via mail anymore. Like, it's just, I think you can utilize social media more and clever email blasts.
So okay. That's good to know, because I would think, oh, it's the special little physical letter.
If it's, I'm speaking mostly rule of thumb, but if it's somebody that and you've seen them and you've had a connection with them, then yeah, it can't hurt. It can't hurt. I'm just trying to widen, where the ball is supposed to go through, but if you know somebody, then you can take it to the next level.
Right. Okay.
Thank you, Mark. We got lots of questions we want to get in the next 20
Thanks,
minutes.
Mark.
Thank you. Let's see. Oh, Erin's on it. I'm sorry. I forget that I don't have to do everything today. Not like every other
Right. Last time.
Yeah.
Hi.
I'm muted. We've got Kate next.
Hi, Kate.
You have the ability to turn on your mic, so you're going to turn it on your end.
How do I like?
Oh, she did it.
We got it. You did it.
Wow! I can't believe I did it. Yeah. Basically, hello everyone. I know Meredith, I know Erin and Gabrielle. It's so nice to meet you. Well, my question might have probably been answered in different little ways here, but I was just trying to find the best way to stay in touch with you. So, I just followed you just now on Instagram. So, and through that I saw your email, because I was going to ask you for that, but I just found it. So,
yeah.
So
and check out the website, GabrielleScharyCasting.com. It's got a lot of, information on there. Who's your agent? Are you with somebody currently?
Yes, I'm with Peter Calanteras. I'm on The Young and the Restless. I've been on there for a very long time.
Congratulations. That seems like a great career, just to be on a show like that. The relationships you must have.
No, I'm very, very honored. Believe me. I'm also one of the governors for the Television Academy, and so for performers. So I'm all about representing all of us, and it's so nice that you have taken the time to present yourself to us, and that makes me very happy. So I just basically wanted to say hi. And is there another way besides following you on Instagram that would be a good way?
Email's the best.
And that's the GabrielleScharyCasting.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, Gabrielle at GabrielleScharyCasting.com or GabrielleSchary@me.com.
Okay.
It's all on the website too. Drop a letter or email or whatever, and anything new and exciting going on, or anything you need help promoting, it's kind of fun to stay in touch with people.
Well, thank you. Thank you all for putting this together, and thank you again, Gabrielle.
Of course. Nice to meet you, Kate.
You too.
Thank you, Kate. All right. Erin's on it. I know we're
it's going to be Jennifer.
Okay, my question is, if you come in for a spot and maybe by the time you get there, they've decided they want a brunette and you're a redhead like me, whatever the reason is, you're not right for the spot, but you do a killer audition and you're like, hey, I kind of like her. Do you have like that folder of favorites, or do you like star people so that you go, you know what? I have a spot coming up that she might be good for, or is it kind of like all new every time there's a new audition?
No, we definitely have favorite folders, and especially for people who stand out or have a special skill. Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the name of the job, what you got to do. So
If you go in and say a thank you there, it's going to take you right to your headshot. So go in and you can go in and thank us on the posts that will have Gabrielle's name on it, and then we'll make sure she sees everyone. So we don't mind those kind of thank yous, right?
not at all. I honestly don't. I'm just telling you, I was just sharing a funny story.
No, I think it's funny. Because that's exactly how it worked. I actually heard a casting director say once, and I was like mortified because I had done it. Like he said, it's the people that get the smallest parts that send the biggest gifts. And I was like, oh God, I just sent an edible bouquet. I was like, ah. I mean, but we want so it's, and then I've heard casting directors say, I gave her like a blah, blah, blah spot that she made 100,000 on, and I never got a thank you note. So it's like kind of just knowing that balance of when it's appropriate to, like, it's our job to show up at the audition, and it's Gabrielle's job to audition us. Right.
Correct.
And so that's so I kind of get where where the woman was coming from, but it's like,
because we're doing our job too. Like if I get a job to cast, my director's not sending me a gift,
right.
or I'm not sending my director a gift. I actually might send some directors a gift if around the holidays, or if they have a baby, or, but, no, we're all here doing a job, and the way you thank people is showing up early and being there and being flexible and not being nudgy in the waiting room, and not acting clueless because you didn't have time to read the notes. So those are the kinds of ways I think I've noticed people make themselves shine.
So it says disability is seldom seen in commercials. Audience seem to see disability, see the disability instead of the product, except maybe a greeter at a big box store. What is the best way to represent yourself with a disability in commercials?
That's a very good question, a very tricky question. It's very brand specific in my experience. Some brands are very, they want diversity in disability and body types. Other commercials are just too fast, and they don't really, it's really not about the actor. It might be more about the car or the food, or, but for your unique situation, I would be registered with agents that are getting those breakdowns. Because when we do have that, and they specifically say, we want to include people with all kinds of, lifestyle situations. It's kind of catch as catch can. And the best way to do it is just have a good profile and be able to have images of yourself ready. And then when you go in, they know what they're looking for. So it's not like it's a surprise, and just, show yourself as diverse in life as you are and the things that you do. And it really has to, for commercials, it really has to be more for what the brand wants to promote.
Right.
Way more than theatrical, because theatrical, it seems like they do tend to have more of a wide net with that stuff.
Yeah, I lived in Cincinnati for 22 years, so I went to a lot of PG go-sees for Prince. I'm hooked on Tide. I have 2 hooks for hands, so they never got it, I don't think. But yeah, it's just, I've done a few commercial auditions. I'm with a Rise artist agency here. in LA, and Meridian Management, Joe Ruggieri at Meridian. And I've done a few self-tape auditions, but it doesn't usually ever get past that. I've got the high cheekbones and boyish good looks for an old man. So
You're very handsome. No, absolutely.
He's playing my dad in a new Christmas movie. Yeah. So,
yeah. But anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. For
And I'll keep an eye out
and
for you
pull
when
them
we're
up.
doing something. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, thank you, Gabrielle.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I have two. One, we did an audition over the weekend. It was for a Santa gig. And we submitted our audition. Minutes after we sent in the audition, there came a revision from casting. And it was a almost completely different scenario of what they wanted. But we already submitted. We couldn't resubmit with that.
In the request, it didn't say resubmit.
No, I needed to have a new audition request.
Who's your agent?
Coast to Coast.
Okay. Do you remember who they could reach out to casting and say, hey, Chet's trying to resubmit based on the script change. Can you enable, because it was on Casting Networks?
I can't remember. Teresa knows. Okay. She's my Mrs. Claus.
Okay, Kay. If it was on Casting Networks, there's a setting that we can put on our side. We can put accept additional media. And so if the script changes or this or that, sometimes it's not the end of sometimes it doesn't change enough that your first call is enough to get you a callback. And then when it comes to the callback, there will be a new script, because the scripts do change a lot, but they don't always change monumentally. So, I wouldn't stress about it. You could just have, one of your people over at Coast to Coast. I don't know. Do you work with Sidell, or who do you work with over there?
With what we were dealing with Matt, I think at the time.
Okay, Matt. Yeah, just say, hey, I noticed they changed it. Do I need to resubmit? And they can just hit up casting really quick and just say, hey, and they might, if it was like what I'm assuming it was, it'll be like, no, it's fine. If he gets a call back, we can give him the new script. It's not that big of a change.
Okay. And then the other thing is that, I not only do I do Santas, but, Westerns, Vikings, all those other things that require a beard. But why would they ask, and now let me back up. During classes, they say, always answer with a yes. If they say, can you ride a bicycle? Can you do this? Can you do that? Oh, yeah, I can do that. Why would they ask me to shave?
Okay. The whole biking, horse, tricycle question, no, answer the truth. You will be found out. It will absolutely. We booked a woman on a job. They sent her to Portland. She said she could ride a bike. It wasn't anything tricky. It was a woman in her 40s. She looked fit. She's like, I can ride a bike. It wasn't tricky. She was riding down a pathway. Like, nobody thought for a second she was lying. She got there. She couldn't no more ride a bike. She fell over and hurt herself. They had to have EMTs. It was a nightmare. The agency never wanted to see anybody from the talent agency. The agent, my clients, they never want to see her again. So yeah, always tell the truth when it comes to anything physical. As far as a beard goes, I mean, anything's negotiable, but why are they going to ask a man with a gorgeous beard like you to shave it unless there's something you can do that nobody else clean shaving can do? And if they're going to do that, what's that going to cost? Is that $15,000 to shave a beard because it's going to take me 3 years to grow it back? Everything's negotiable, I think.
Yeah. But I make over $30,000 during Christmas.
Right. And not everybody can do that. In fact, they're supposed to, I don't know if it's still a SAG rule, but there used to be a thing, if you hire a man specifically for a beard, you have to give him a beard check. And it was like a wardrobe check. It's an extra but I don't know. It's so nudgy. Producers don't like that. So, but I just remember that because you do minimize the opportunities you have because you have a very unique thing. So I would just say, if they say, hey, do you want to shave? Just go, we can discuss it, and let your agent discuss it. I mean, but don't do it for cheap.
Right, right. And then one more thing. You said something about the thumbnail for your audition tapes. I always thought that it just pulled something out and it stuck up there. How do you find the thumbnail you want?
You just have to look in there and see how you select it. I don't know the actor side, but I know when you can choose a thumbnail. You can find a frame, and then there's a little button says, and it's a still, your video is paused, and then you can just say make thumbnail, and so if it's fast capture from Casting Networks, then it'll grab that screenshot or that's still image of your video and make that. So maybe that's the reaction to, whatever it was, or,
right.
So just play with that a little bit, look at the thing, call support, say, how do I personal or specialize my thumbnail on my self-tape?
Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
But you're on, Angelique. Hi, honey.
So, Angelique, yeah, you got it. She's got it. Oh my God, what a pro.
Yes, I'm a technology pro, if I must say so myself. One of my special skills.
Yes.
Hi, Gabrielle. Good to see you. My question was in the chat. Is what's the best way to receive audition or self-tape opportunities for commercials in different cities in addition to LA? So New York, Atlanta. My family's over in New York, so I'm there a lot these days, especially this year. So I'm just want to know the best way to go about that.
I would call support over. Are you on Casting Networks, or what platform are you on?
Actors Access right now.
Actors Access. I would check with them and see how you could be, because when we put a breakdown out, we it's most, like 9 times out of 10 specific to where they want to shoot it, because they don't have money to travel, so they're looking for locals. So if Actors Access can let you obtain breakdowns for New York, maybe they'll let you have 2 cities or 3 cities. Like, every platform is a little different. I would say try to get on board with that. You might have to pay a little bit more of a premium. I don't know how they run, but ideally, and when you submit, you really need to submit truthfully, because if the job is happening on Friday and today's Tuesday, I don't even want to hear from you if you're in Cincinnati, because it's just going to create a nightmare for everybody. Now, if the job's 2 weeks out, then that's a little different. But, you just have to think about the casting company and the production company, and are you going to benefit? Are they going to be benefited by you being involved, or is it going to become a nightmare and trying to book last minute flights and, potentially childcare or another booking, or, just the expense of it? But if you have family in New York and you, with reasonable notice, can hop on a red eye and get there tomorrow and have a place to stay that's not coming out of your pocket, then you can legitimately say, I can work New York as a local. But I would just look at the dates and just make sure you're not submitting yourself on something that's going to create chaos.
Okay.
Because there's too much chaos in the world. But you have a beautiful look, and Actors Access is a platform I don't work with a lot. I'm mostly on Casting Networks, so you might want to just sort of peek around and see what other ones there are.
Okay, perfect. That's really helpful. Thank you so much.
Jump on to literally donate your time to give us some insight, and we just so appreciate it.
Well, you're so sweet. I'd do anything for you, Meredith. And actors, remember, you help casting too. Like, you showing up and being there and doing your jobs, it helps us, because what could we do if we didn't have good performers who are diligent and reliable and professional? Like, you doing that helps us. So I want to thank you guys for you know, getting to meet you and having some fresh options for next time we, you know, we're always looking for jobs too. So.
Thank you so much.
Oh, look at that baby.
I was hoping she would come.
Oh, she's
This is
Equal
baby Emmy.
opportunist. I'm excited about
Yeah.
cats as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in trouble now.
So
I know you
think,
like cats.
Gabrielle, I think maybe can Gabrielle log herself off and then we can stay in case you guys don't have to stay. I know you're not here for me, but in case anyone has some additional questions.
No, I'll leave.
Can
Thank
that work?
you, thank you, Erin. Thank you, Meredith, and thank the group. You guys. Hope to see you soon.